The stage lights burned hot against Ryan Thompson's skin as he snatched the microphone from the stand and shouted into the roaring crowd at the annual music awards. "My brother is gay, and if any of you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with me too, and you can take your tickets and your streams and shove them." The words hung in the air for a split second before the boos started, a wave of anger that drowned out the music and shattered the night in an instant. Ryan's heart pounded as he saw security rushing the stage and his manager waving frantically from the wings, but it was too late. The damage was done. As the lights dimmed and the show cut to commercial, Ryan stumbled backstage, his mind racing. He had just thrown away everything. The chart-topping singles, the sold-out tours, the label's $1 million contract, all for Tyler, his younger brother who had been outed in a vicious tabloid leak earlier that day. Tyler stood there in the green room, eyes wide with tears, pulling Ryan into a hug. "You didn't have to do that, man. Your career." Ryan forced a smile, but inside, a storm was brewing. Because the truth was, defending Tyler wasn't just about brotherly love. It was a mirror to Ryan's own secret, the one he'd buried for years in the closet while climbing the pop star ladder in Los Angeles. The conservative family back in Texas, the industry that rewarded straight image, the fear that one whisper could end it all. Now it was ending anyway. That night, as Ryan drove through the palm-lined streets of LA, his phone exploded with notifications. Pop star Ryan Thompson canceled for gay brother defense trended everywhere. Sponsors pulled out, radio stations banned his songs, and fans split into camps, some praising him, most attacking. Ryan pulled over, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. What had he done? Tyler called, voice shaky. "The folks are freaking out. Mom's crying. Dad's saying you ruined the family name." Ryan swallowed hard, the internal conflict tearing at him. He had always been the golden child, the one who made it big to escape their small-town judgment. Now he was the villain for doing the right thing. But as he stared at his reflection in the rearview mirror, he wondered how long he could keep hiding the fact that he was just like Tyler. The drive home to his empty mansion felt like the longest of his life, the weight of the backlash settling in like a fog that wouldn't lift. The next morning, the label called. "We're dropping you, Ryan. The optics are bad. Come back when this dies down, if it ever does." Ryan hung up and stared at the ceiling, the silence of his Hollywood Hills home pressing down. Tyler showed up an hour later with coffee and a forced grin. "You stood up for me when no one else would. That means everything." They sat on the balcony overlooking the city Ryan had conquered and lost in one night. Ryan wanted to tell him the full truth, that every word on stage had been as much for himself as for Tyler, but the words stuck in his throat. Instead, he listened as Tyler talked about the online hate he was facing too, the slurs, the threats. Ryan's chest tightened with guilt and fear. By afternoon, his agent quit via text, and 3 endorsement deals vanished. Ryan paced the living room, replaying the boos in his head. He had chosen family over fame, but now the cost felt unbearable. As evening fell, he grabbed his guitar and strummed a few chords, the melody raw and unpolished, a quiet rebellion against the silence closing in. Little did he know this was only the beginning of a journey that would force him to face everything he had run from for so long. Weeks blurred into months, and Ryan's world shrank. The paparazzi camped outside his gate for the first 2 weeks, then moved on to fresher scandals, but the damage lingered in every rejected pitch and silent phone. He tried to write new music, but every lyric felt tainted by the fear that had kept him closeted since high school back in Texas. Tyler stayed in LA longer than planned, crashing in the guest room and dragging Ryan to quiet coffee shops where no one recognized them anymore. "You're my hero, Tyler said one afternoon, scrolling through old fan comments that had turned vicious. Ryan nodded, but inside he felt like a fraud. How could he be anyone's hero when he couldn't even admit to himself what he really wanted? One rainy evening, Ryan slipped into a small West Hollywood bar he had avoided for years, the kind of place where no one asked for autographs. That's where he met Liam Hayes, a music producer with kind eyes and a quiet confidence that cut through Ryan's defenses. Liam recognized him immediately, but didn't make it awkward. "Heard what you did for your brother. Takes guts in this town. They talked for hours about music, about the industry that chewed people up, about family expectations. Ryan didn't mention his own secret, but something in Liam's steady gaze made him feel seen for the first time. When Ryan left that night, the rain had stopped, and for the first time since the awards show, the weight on his chest felt a little lighter. But the relief didn't last. Tyler started dating a guy openly, posting pictures that drew fresh waves of hate directed at Ryan by association. Their parents called weekly, alternating between guilt trips and pleas to fix this image problem. Ryan's savings dwindled as bills piled up, and when an old friend from the label offered a lifeline, a feature on a straight-wash track if he distanced himself from Tyler, Ryan almost took it. The temptation clawed at him during sleepless nights. He argued with Tyler one evening, words sharper than intended. "You don't get it. I lost everything for you." Tyler's face crumpled. "I never asked you to." The fight ended with slammed doors and heavy silence. Ryan drove aimlessly, ending up at Liam's studio unannounced. Liam didn't push for details, just handed him headphones and let him listen to a track he was producing. The melody wrapped around Ryan's pain, and for a moment he allowed himself to imagine a life where he didn't have to hide. But back home, the mirror reflected the same scared man, and the internal war raged on. The industry whispers grew louder. Ryan Thompson was finished, a cautionary tale. Yet in quiet moments, strumming his guitar, new songs emerged, honest and aching, songs he knew he could never release. As winter turned to spring, Ryan realized the real battle wasn't with the world outside. It was the one inside him, demanding to be heard. A year passed in quiet survival. Ryan sold the big house, moved to a modest apartment in Silver Lake, and took odd producing gigs under a fake name to pay the bills. Tyler had moved back to Texas, trying to rebuild his own life, but the distance only amplified Ryan's guilt. They talked less, the easy brotherhood strained by unspoken resentments. Ryan threw himself into work with Liam, their friendship deepening into late-night sessions where music became therapy. Liam shared stories of his own coming-out journey years earlier, the family rejection, the hard-won peace. Ryan listened, heart racing, but still couldn't say the words. "You're carrying something heavy," Liam said one night over takeout. Ryan changed the subject, but the observation lingered like an open wound. The misunderstanding with Tyler exploded during a surprise visit. Tyler arrived unannounced, excited about a new job, but sensed Ryan's distance. "You're pulling away because I'm gay, aren't you?" All that defense was just for show. The accusation hit like a punch. Ryan wanted to scream the truth, that he was terrified because he was gay too, that every defense had been a step toward his own freedom he still couldn't take. Instead, he shut down, and Tyler left angry, slamming the door on years of closeness. The betrayal Ryan felt wasn't from Tyler. It was from himself. Nights blurred into panic attacks, the internal crisis peaking as old management emails offered a comeback if he played the straight ally card publicly. Ryan almost said yes, the temptation of fame pulling harder than ever. Liam noticed the change and invited Ryan on a hike in the hills above LA. Under the open sky, Ryan finally cracked, tears mixing with sweat. "What if I'm just like him? What if I lose everything for real this time?" Liam didn't flinch, just sat beside him in silence until Ryan was ready to breathe again. That conversation planted the first seed of courage. Ryan started therapy in secret, unpacking the childhood sermons, the locker room taunts, the fear that had shaped his entire career. Songs poured out, raw and real, recorded in Liam's home studio. But releasing them meant risk, and Ryan wasn't ready. The industry moved on without him, new stars rising while his name faded to a footnote. Tyler sent a text after weeks of silence. "I miss my brother." Ryan stared at the screen, the weight of his choices pressing down. As summer heat blanketed the city, Ryan stood at a crossroads. Keep hiding and survive, or step into the light and risk it all again. The decision loomed, terrifying and inevitable. 2 years after the award show, Ryan's life had settled into a fragile rhythm. He and Liam had grown inseparable, their friendship evolving into something deeper during quiet dinners and shared playlists. The first time Liam kissed him, it was gentle and patient, a moment that shattered years of denial and filled Ryan with a warmth he had never allowed himself to feel. No fireworks, no drama, just two men finding safety in each other. Ryan didn't rush to label it, but the relationship became his anchor. Liam encouraged the new songs, helping shape them into something authentic without pressure. This is you, Ryan, the real you. Family pressure mounted when their parents announced a visit to L.A. The dinner was tense, old wounds reopening. Dad grumbled about choices. Mom avoided eye contact. Tyler joined via video, the screen thick with unresolved hurt. Ryan sat there, Liam's hand hidden under the table for support, and felt the old fear rise. But something had shifted. He didn't defend himself with lies anymore. The visit ended in awkward hugs, but Ryan walked away feeling lighter. The sacrifice of his old life had taught him what mattered: real connection over applause. The industry offered a test when a small indie label reached out for a collaboration, but with conditions: keep the personal life private. Ryan turned it down, choosing instead to record a single with Liam's help, uploading it anonymously online. The track gained quiet traction, comments pouring in from people who felt seen. Liam celebrated with him over wine on the balcony, their laughter mixing with city sounds. Ryan whispered the words he'd practiced in therapy: "I'm gay." Saying it aloud to Liam felt like shedding armor. The romance deepened, walks in the park turning into weekends away, conversations stretching into mornings. Yet doubt lingered. What if coming out fully destroyed the fragile progress? Tyler called one night, voice softer. "I'm sorry for what I said. I was hurting too." They talked for hours, rebuilding the bridge Ryan had feared was gone forever. As fall leaves turned in the canyons, Ryan faced a pivotal choice: release the music as himself or stay safe. With Liam beside him, the answer felt clearer than ever. The path forward was scary, but for the first time, it felt like his own. The comeback began small. Ryan booked a tiny venue in Silver Lake under his real name, inviting only a handful of loyal fans and industry friends who hadn't abandoned him. Liam produced the set, the song's raw confessions wrapped in melodies that hit differently now. Tyler flew in for support, the brothers hugging tightly backstage. "Proud of you, Ree, whatever happens." The crowd was modest, but the energy electric. Ryan stepped into the lights, guitar in hand, and sang the truth about fear, about family, about love he had finally claimed. No one booed. Applause built, genuine and loud. Clips spread online, sparking quiet buzz. The indie label returned, this time without conditions. Challenges hit hard. Old rivals leaked rumors, trying to stir the original backlash. A major streaming platform hesitated on distribution. Ryan's parents called in tears, torn between love and lingering prejudice. Through it all, Liam was steady, reminding him that authenticity had its own power. Their relationship strengthened in the fire. Late nights planning, quiet affirmations, the kind of partnership Ryan once believed impossible. Tyler and Ryan mended fully during long talks, Tyler sharing his own growth and encouraging Ryan to stop carrying the world's judgment. "You defended me once. Now let me stand with you." The tension peaked when a big festival invited Ryan as a surprise act, the same stage where his fall had begun. He accepted, heart pounding. Rehearsals were grueling, doubt creeping in during sleepless nights. Liam held him through the panic. "You've already won by being here." The day arrived, and Ryan stood in the wings, Tyler and Liam beside him. Stepping out, the crowd's reaction was mixed at first. Murmurs, some cheers. Then the first chord hit, and the music did what words couldn't. By the final note, the applause was thunderous. Ryan felt the shift, the proof that the industry and fans could change. Backstage, tears flowed as he pulled Liam and Tyler into a group hug. The years of sacrifice had led here, not to the old fame, but to something better. The climb wasn't over, but Ryan was no longer climbing alone. The festival performance opened doors Ryan thought were sealed forever. Streaming numbers climbed, interviews followed, and the indie label offered a full album deal with creative freedom. Ryan poured everything into the record, songs about the brother he had defended, the love he had found, the man he had become. Liam co-produced every track, their partnership both professional and personal, a quiet strength that grounded Ryan through the chaos. Tyler moved back to L.A., the brothers collaborating on a track that celebrated family truth. Their parents slowly came around, starting with cautious visits and ending in tentative acceptance during a small release party. The album dropped on a sunny spring morning, and the response was overwhelming. Critics called it brave. Fans flooded socials with stories of their own journeys. Ryan's comeback tour sold out modest venues first, then larger ones. At the final show in Los Angeles, the same award stage energy returned, but transformed. Ryan stood under the lights, guitar slung low, and looked out at the crowd. No boos, only cheers. He paused after the last song. Years ago, I defended my brother because love isn't something to hide. Tonight, I'm defending myself too. I'm gay, and I'm finally proud of it. The arena erupted. Tyler rushed the stage for a hug, Liam waiting in the wings with tears and a smile that said everything. Back home that night, the three of them, Ryan, Liam, and Tyler, sat on a balcony watching city lights. Ryan leaned into Liam's side, hand in his, the romance no longer secret but celebrated. The internal conflicts that once tore him apart had given way to peace. He had lost fame once, but gained a life worth living. The sacrifices, the misunderstandings, the long nights of doubt, all of it had led to this moment of wholeness. As laughter filled the air, Ryan realized the greatest proof wasn't the chart position or the sold-out shows. It was the freedom to love openly, to stand beside his brother without fear, to build a future with a man who had seen him through the darkest days. Was standing up for love and truth always worth the cost, even when it meant losing everything you thought defined you? True or false?